Fish world with aquatic plants. I started out planting seeds from Amazon. Don't do it. The plants would not stay rooted in the soil. It was Amazon aqua soil and 88 sand. I put them in the filters and I cut out little bushes. They would stay in the bushes, but I wet the sand and started to plant. I waited 4 weeks and then I filled. The bushes was a success, but in the substrate, they would not stay rooted. Those seeds from eBay and Amazon are scam. 88 product line, the whole entire line is what I started off with. 88 Chloroff, which removes chlorine from the tap water, like Seachem say. Vitamins, it gives vitamins for beneficial bacteria. It makes the water more like river water, and has stress relief for fish and shrimp. The clear water is the phosphate eliminator, less algae growth. I did not need the salt water, because where I am, on the map of the southeast to be exact, we have salt water coming through the tap. Green Bacter Plus, which delivers beneficial bacteria usually around setup time, but you can add this to improve your beneficial bacteria if you want to like boost your tank, so to speak. Green Game, which supplies promotion of plant growth and boosts plant resistance to disease, enhance the growth of young buds, and environmental degradation, which means it's less stress when pruning your plants. PhotoGit inhabits the growth of green-blue algae, improves disease resistance. So it gives your plants to build up a resistance against algae through the DNA and helps them develop that. ECA Plus, preventing and treating chlorosis and new plant growth, improves green and red colors in plants. Photosynthetic pigments, PhotoGrit Soul, suppresses the growth of blue-green algae and prevents a reoccurrence of algae blooms by leaving this antiseptic components on the areas where it is applied for a period of time. Now your floater plants help eliminate algae, but don't like currents as much. So your pumps and your filters, you don't really care for them. It's more of a Diane Wallstead method with the floater plants. Because if you have a lot of pumps and stuff going at a high rate, and it's not flowing down into the substrate, but it's flowing to like circulate the top of the water, your floater plants just gonna keep getting stuck in your pumps. It's not gonna work. Floaters can help compete for nutrients against algae. Now, ghost shrimp aren't as good of algae eaters as red cherry shrimp, but that's all I could get my hands on at the time. Lifespan is maybe about a year, but my local pet store had them as feeders, and it was just convenient at that time. Tetras and ghost shrimp. Ghost shrimp eat their fair share, but not like the red cherry shrimp. Amazon Swords, SP Reppins, Cryptocranium Wendiddy Red, Bacopa, Caroline Annan, Alternatera, Recommended. Those are some plants that you might see. This is generally a low-tech setup. Most of the plants like a low-light environment. It's starting to flush out, looking a little lush on one side. So far, so good. Tetras are an Amazonian species. There are many different ones. The ones that are here are neon tetras and green fire tetras or fire green tetras. 5-year lifespans, the tetras they have. And they want to swim in schools. You could have a big school, you could have a small school of about 6 or 7 to start out the right way. Fire green tetras do eat algae as well. The more the plants, the better. If your substrate is leaching a lot of nutrients, then you should water change, adding as many plants as possible to eat and absorb the excess nukes. Whenever you have plants, as many as that, you can definitely counteract the algae blooms and all that stuff with adding more plants so that the algae has to compete, and the plants will usually override the algae usage. The way I started out was 88. It was quite expensive. I don't know if I'm going to go that route anymore. I went from 88 to buying at the Tractor Supply store blasting sand to replace a small bag of sand that cost an enormous amount of money that would not cover a portion of a 55-gallon